Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order at 7 o'clock. Opening roll call, please.
Mrs. Cochran?
Here.
Mrs. Kuntz?
Here.
Ms. Snyder?
Here.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Here.
Ms. Anderson?
Here.
Mr. Ray?
Here.
Okay, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. We are looking first for a motion to accept minutes from August 21st, 2023 council meeting as presented and not read, please.
Okay, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from August 21st, 2023 council meeting as presented and not read.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Kuntz?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Thank you, council. Next, we're looking for a motion to accept purchase orders from August 19th, 2023 to September 1st, 2023, totaling $1,224,347.36 as presented and not read, please.
I'll make a motion to accept purchase orders from August 19th, 2023 to September 1st, 2023, totaling $1,224,347.36 as presented and not read.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Kuntz?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you, council. Next, we're looking for a motion to accept bills from August 19th, 2023 to September 1st, 2023, totaling $323,678.47 as presented and not read, please.
I'll make a motion to accept bills from August 19, 2023 to September 1st, 2023, totaling $323,678.47 as presented and not read.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Kuntz?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We're looking next for a motion to accept August 2023 DOPS delinquency report as presented and not read, please.
I'll make a motion to accept August 2023 DOPS delinquency report as presented and not read.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Whichever one.
Yep. Any discussion, council? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Kuntz?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
And we're next looking for a motion to accept June 2023 bank reconciliation report as presented and not read, please.
I'll make a motion to accept June 2023 bank reconciliation report as presented and not read.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Kuntz?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, council. We're next moving into the reading of ordinances and resolutions with our village administrator. Mrs. Sayers, please. Thank you.
Resolution number 7295-2023, a resolution proclaiming the Village of Lakemore will observe October 1st through October 7th, 2023 as Stormwater Awareness Week. Whereas communities across Ohio are urging residents to be the change for clean water and take action during Stormwater Awareness Week, October 1st to October 7th, 2023. And whereas Stormwater Awareness Week offers residents an opportunity to learn how they can take small actions to make a big impact on protecting Springfield Lake. While rainwater is great for lawns and gardens, it can be dangerous for streams and rivers. And whereas stormwater can push common household items such as trash, lawn fertilizer, or paint into local waterways, threatening our environment and waterways. Therefore, the mayor and council of the Village of Lakemore hereby proclaim the Village of Lakemore is observing Stormwater Awareness Week and strongly urges the citizens and businesses of the Village of Lakemore to take simple actions to improve water quality and reduce stormwater runoff. Section 1. That the Village of Lakemore recognizes October 1st until October 7th, 2023 is Stormwater Awareness Week. Section 2, during Stormwater Awareness Week, soil and water conservation districts throughout Ohio are urging residents to take one or more of the following actions. Pick up trash in your neighborhood or a local park. It can be a family game to see who can fill up the bag first. Pollution left on roadways, sidewalks, driveways, and parking lot drains directly to our streams and rivers. Check the weather report before applying fertilizer to your lawn or any oil or chemicals to driveways and sidewalks. This will protect the environment and your pocketbook. Make sure lawns have 3 to 4 inches of topsoil under the grass. This will reduce runoff as well as make lawns easier to maintain. Plant native plants that have deep roots, which will help break up clay soil and increase the amount of water remaining on a property while benefiting birds, butterflies, and bees. Plant a tree in your yard or install a rain garden. Trees can soak up 900 gallons of rain a year, and a well-designed rain garden almost entirely reduces stormwater from a property. Stormwater can also erode away streams, which can cause flooding. Each year, conservation districts investigate multiple sources of pollution and assist hundreds of homeowners concerned with stream erosion and flooding, all caused by stormwater runoff. Encourage local businesses to become a water quality partner. Section 3, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the passage of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council or any of its committees that resulted in such formal actions were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 4 of this resolution shall go into effect on and after the earliest period allowed by law. Resolution number 7298-2023, a resolution accepting the amounts and rates and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the Summit County Fiscal Officer. Now therefore be resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, Ohio. Section 1, Council hereby authorizes the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission. Council authorizes the necessary tax levies and certify them to the Summit County Fiscal Officer. Section 2, a copy of the tax levy certification is attached hereto and made part hereof as if fully written herein. Council understands the Village of Lakemore's official certificate of estimated resources for 2024 will be sent prior to January 1st, 2024. Section 3, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the adoption of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting in this council, and that all such deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 4, this resolution shall go into effect on and after the earliest period allowed by law. Resolution number 7299-2023, a resolution approving the agreement from Lexipol to update the Village of Lakemore's Policy and Procedures Manual. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, and State of Ohio. Section 1, Council approves the agreement from Lexipol to update the Village of Lakemore's Policy and Procedures Manual. Section 2, the service will have a one-time setup cost of $10,468.80 and an annual cost of $5,323.50. The agreement is attached hereto and made part of as if fully written herein. Section 3, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the passage of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council or any of its committees that resulted in such formal actions were in meeting open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 4 of this resolution is declared to be an emergency measure in the interest of the health, peace, and safety of the citizens of the Village of Lakemore. Therefore, this resolution should take effect immediately. Resolution number 7300-2023, a resolution accepting the proposal from Great Lakes RCAP to perform rate studies for the water and sanitary sewer utilities for the Village of Lakemore. Whereas Mayor and Council acknowledge the need to examine long-term and short-term maintenance and required improvements of the water and sanitary utilities, and whereas Mayor and Council understand a utility rate study is required by the Ohio EPA. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, and State of Ohio. Section 1, Mayor and Council are complying with Ohio EPA requirements to conduct a utility rate study for water and sanitary sewer services. Mayor and Council must verify the rates charged will afford long-term and short-term maintenance and required improvements for both utilities. Section 2, Mayor and Council have reviewed and approved the proposal from Great Lakes RCAP to perform rate studies of the water utility for up to $12,000 and of the sanitary sewer utility for up to $7,000. Section 3, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the adoption of this ordinance were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 4 of this resolution is declared to be an emergency measure in the interest of the health, peace, and safety of the citizens of the Village of Lakemore. Therefore, this resolution should take effect immediately. Ordinance number 1823-2023, an ordinance accepting the dedication of streets and utilities within the Hidden Lake Estates Phase 8 subdivision for public purposes, setting performance and maintenance guarantees therefore, and providing for immediate enactment. Whereas TWL Hidden Lake LLC or owner and or their designated representative have presented a plat subdividing certain property owned by them within the Village of Lakemore, Ohio, and whereas the Planning Commission of the village has approved such subdivision, and whereas TWL Hidden Lake LLC and or their designated representative desire to dedicate a certain portion of subdivision land as public streets in the Village of Lakemore, Ohio. And whereas this council deems that the dedication of such streets would serve the interests of the village. Now therefore be it ordained by the council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio, Section 1, that a portion of Starlight Circle and Bookman Avenue as depicted and set forth in the subdivision plat of Hidden Lake Estates Phase 8 are hereby accepted and dedicated for public use along with associated storm sewers, water lines, and wetland area. Section 2, that the acceptance of Section 1 herein is conditional upon the owner paying total general improvement costs, including but not limited to storm sewers, storm water detention, wetland area, sanitary sewers, water lines, streets, curbs, gutters, sidewalks, street lighting, and all other necessary improvements holding the village harmless therefrom. Section 3, that the acceptance in Section 1 herein is further conditional upon the execution of a bond or irrevocable letter of credit in the sum of $115,000 for general improvement excluding sidewalks to the Village of Lakemore, guaranteeing the completion of such streets and improvements as set forth in Section 1 herein on or before 18 months from the effective date of this ordinance, in accordance with the standards and specifications of the Village of Lakemore and the County of Summit, Ohio. Section 4, that the acceptance in Section 1 herein is further conditional upon the execution of a bond or irrevocable letter of credit in the sum of $10,000, guaranteeing the completion of sidewalks within 6 months of final building inspection for each individual lot created therein, but in no event later than or on or before 36 months from the effective date of this ordinance, in accordance with the standards and specifications of the Village of Lakemore. Section 5, the owner has deposited the sum of $7,500 with the Village of Lakemore ERA-CRA account to cover the necessary costs of inspection, checking plans and plat, checking of construction, and any other necessary inspections of the village in connection with the construction of said streets and in the installation of any improvements therein. TWL Hidden Lake LLC and or their designated representative shall be furnished an itemized account of such necessary expenditures by the village and shall, in the event that such is necessary, reimburse the village of any additional costs properly incurred in addition to the sum originally deposited, or shall receive from the village in the event that the necessary costs are less, a refund or the balance remaining of the sum originally deposited. Section 6, that in addition to all other sums, TWL Hidden Lake LLC and or their designated representative has deposited the sum of $500 with the Village of Lakemore to provide for installation of street signs not purchased and installed by TWL Hidden Lake LLC and or their designated representative. TWL Hidden Lake LLC and or their designated representative shall be furnished an itemized account of such necessary expenditures by the village and shall, in the event that such is necessary, reimburse the village for any additional costs properly incurred in addition to the sum originally deposited, or shall receive from the village, in the event that the necessary costs are less, a refund of the balance remaining of the sum originally deposited. Section 7, that the acceptance set forth in Section 1 herein is further conditional upon the execution of a bond or irrevocable letter of credit to the Village of Lakemore by TWL Hidden Lake LLC and/or their designated representative in the sum of $100,000 guaranteeing the maintenance of said roads listed in Section 1 within the subdivision, including storm sewers, stormwater detention facilities, sanitary sewers, water lines, streets, curbs, gutters, street lighting, and other improvements, excluding sidewalks across open space areas for a period of 2 years following the completion and acceptance of the construction of said general improvements. Section 8, that the acceptance set forth in Section 1 herein is further conditional upon the execution of a bond or irrevocable letter of credit to the Village of Lakemore by TWL Hidden Lake LLC and/or their designated representative in the sum of $5,000, guaranteeing the maintenance of said roads listed in Section 1 within the subdivision for sidewalks across open space areas for a period of 2 years following the completion and acceptance of the construction of said general improvements. Section 9, that is a further condition to the acceptance set forth in Section 1 herein, TWL Hidden Lake LLC and/or their designated representative shall deposit with the Department of Public Services of the Village of Lakemore the original tracings and approved Mylars of the improvement plans, all of which shall become the property of the Village of Lakemore. In addition, record drawings in Mylar and electronic form or AutoCAD format and related data shall be deposited with the Department of Public Services upon completion of construction. Section 10, that by the dedication of said roads listed in Section 1 for public use of streets described in Section 1 herein, TWL Hidden Lake LLC and/or their designated representative do for themselves agree and covenant that they shall pay all special assessments on such parcels herein dedicated and hold the village harmless therefrom. Section 11, that is a further condition to the acceptance set forth in Section 1 herein, TWL Hidden Lake LLC and/or all titled owners making the conveyance shall provide to the Village of Lakemore a title guarantee and lien releases, if appropriate, for those lands to be dedicated as indicated in the final subdivision plat for Hidden Lake Estates Phase 8. The developer will provide, if requested, inspection reports of existing infrastructure, including but not limited to storm sewer film, sanitary sewer film, and pavement cores. The developer will also obtain all approvals, permits, easements, etc., required by the County of Summit, Ohio, including the Department of Sanitary Sewer Services and the Summit County Conservation District. Section 12, that the Village of Lakemore fiscal officer is hereby directed to deliver 2 certified copies of this ordinance, plus any applicable filing fees to the fiscal officer of Summit County within 10 days of passage. Section 13, that the mayor and chairman of the planning commission are hereby directed to endorse upon the subdivision plat of Hidden Lake Estates Phase 8 the approval and acceptance of this council of the roads listed in Section 1 within the subdivision as dedicated streets of the village. Section 14, that it is found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the adoption of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting in this council, and that all deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 15, this ordinance shall go into effect on after the earliest period allowed by law. Ordinance number 1825-2023, an ordinance to amend ordinance 1795-2022, make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the Village of Lakemore, State of Ohio, during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2023. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, Council approves to increase appropriations in General Fund $38,000 for health insurance and upfront costs from the Fire Department grants. This will be reimbursed. Fire EMS Grant Fund 2052, $2,298.96 for business desktops that will be reimbursed from a grant. Water Operating Fund 5101, $46,000 for Hammondry Services for First Street water line and standpipe replacement. CRA ERA Deposits Fund 9201, $5,000 for Hidden Lake expenses. CRA Trust Fund 9976, $2,000 for Hidden Lake expenses. Section 2, Council approves to increase revenues in CRA ERA Deposits Fund 9201, $5,000 for Hidden Lake expenses. Section 3, Treasury for payments from any of the foregoing appropriations upon receiving proper certificates and vouchers therefore approved by the board or officers authorized by law to approve the same, or an ordinance or resolution of council to make the expenditures, provided that no warrants shall be drawn or paid for salaries or wages except to persons employed by authority of and in accordance with law or ordinance. It shall be provided further that the appropriations for contingencies can only be expended upon appeal of 2/3 vote of council for items of expense constituting a legal obligation against the village for purposes other than those covered by the specific appropriations herein made. Section 4 of this ordinance is hereby declared to be an emergency measure necessary for the immediate preservation of the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the village of Lakemore, Ohio. Therefore, this ordinance should go into effect immediately.
Thank you, Tracy. We'll next move into the mayor's report. To start my report off this evening, I'd like to talk a bit about the condition of Springfield Lake. So, as we've been speaking about all along, the sonic transducers that were put in the lake last year have been, and I think everyone's opinion, quite effective. I will revert to the water test results from October of 2022 when they were reading 9, right? And 8 is good, right? 8 for microcystin toxicity, otherwise known as the harmful algae blooms toxicity and such. Not 8 is good, and we were registering at 9 in October of 2022 when we removed the sonic transducers for the season, for winter. We put those back into the lake in the spring, and it wasn't until a lot of time had passed, a couple months we suspect at least, and the increased toxicity numbers were being returned to us as a result of the test results. We recognized that things were not working well in the lake, so we found out that 3 of our 4 machines were not working at all. One was destroyed, possibly by a boater or otherwise.
A
jet
meteor.
skier. Pardon me, a meteor, sure, yeah.
Meteor coulda come down and
Absolutely
hit it.
destroyed. And 2 were malfunctioning for some reason. Okay, I'm not gonna say they were being tampered with or what, I don't wanna go that far, but 3 of the 4 were not working, and we saw an increased level of toxicity in the lake. Matter of fact, we were just on a call last week, and some people were saying, well, they're not really working. And in fact, they were working, and the reason the numbers did not reflect such is because 3 of the 4 were broken. Perhaps all intentionally by somebody, okay? So we had them fixed, and the first reading after having them fixed indicated a drastic reduction in the toxicity of the microcystin count in the lake, right? Amazingly so. They went down to the teens, an average of 18, which is still not good, but I want to remind everyone, it was not that long ago, since I've been mayor, 18 would have been just outside of good. I believe the good level up until a couple years ago, I'm not quite sure when the powers that be lowered the level to 8, but it was 15 for years. We would be close to okay, and we would have been better than okay last year, okay? But for whatever reason, the safety obviously and well-being of people, obviously, the threshold was lowered to 8. And that's what we're aiming for. So we are, as of August 31st testing, we are at 14, 14, 22, and 16 among the 4 test results, right? That's amazingly good compared to what we had just a month prior or 2 months prior, okay?
How high did they go when
were they in the 60s?
Originally, yeah.
Yeah, in the 60s.
Could I ask you a question?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
No,
You
no.
wanted- how high did it get between October of '22 and August,
That's
your
what I
question
said.
too?
That's what I
And
said.
of August 31st?
They were at least in the 20s.
They were in the
Yeah.
20s then, okay. So which side of the lake had both the 14s? Was that
I
the
believe
south
it was-
side?
it's hard
I
to
don't
tell.
know.
I was just
Yeah.
wondering.
It's hard to tell from the actual report here, but they did report that Lakemore side was reporting lower, for whatever reason.
Okay,
I
then
mean, we
that-
know that water is perpetually inflowing to the lake, right? And water is supposed to be, except for the drought this summer,
Right.
leaving the lake.
And there's different kinds of the algae that
Sure.
they
They're testing
bloom at
for.
different
Right.
times, and
And do you remember what the highest we ever tested since we started testing has
it's probably in
been?
the 60s.
In the 60s. So
When, yeah,
being that we're
bioscience come
down,
out.
to 18 now,
As an average of the four,
that's, yeah, is
Yeah.
really pretty good.
Yeah.
quickly, like in a
Yes.
month,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
but I need to report that, again, someone has, I don't want to say purposefully, because I hope people wouldn't do that to us and to our lake, but these machines, these sonic transducers, they are very expensive, and again, I just found out this evening that another has been destroyed. And it's not working. Yeah, I know, no, a couple of us found out tonight, and you knew, right? But please, if you hit one of these expensive machines, at least let us know so we can replace it or repair it quickly, so we don't lose our foothold on the improvement and the positive trajectory of the lake's improvement, right? I mean, we're not gonna be happy, obviously, because again, these are tens of thousands of dollars for the transducers, but we need to know, if you hit them and it was an accident, please report it to us.
Do you think we should consider maybe making it more visible with more flashing lights there?
I
mean,
don't think
maybe
it'd
the
make a
people on the
difference.
lake, you don't
I
think so?
mean, it has a flashing light now.
Okay, but maybe it's not that,
Yeah.
I don't know, I've not been out on the lake
I
in a
mean,
boat.
I
so-
don't want to believe that someone would do this purposefully.
No.
But, you know, it's
Probably not.
probably like someone took a 9-iron to it, or, crowbars or something, they're destroyed. So, it's, it's very disturbing and troubling, but we're trying our hardest to keep things moving forward for the lake. And I think these have proven to be successful. If they wouldn't be broken or malfunction or tampered with, what have you. So the numbers don't lie. And I really need to stress this, because there's some false narrative, conspiracy theory type comments being, spread about on social media. And this is, I need to clear it up. The organization that is doing the test results did not design or sell us the machines. Like, that's one of the conspiracy theories on social media. Oh, isn't it ironic, or isn't it coincidental, or how about the fact that what would you expect them to say, since you bought the machines from the company that's doing the testing? And, that's not true, okay? That's not true. Furthermore, there's people, I'm not a scientist, but, I understand a little bit about the testing process. I've been involved in several meetings. She probably knows a lot more than I do about it. But I trust the scientists who are doing this research, and I trust the scientists who are doing the testing. They get paid, go
They're
ahead.
certified labs
Yeah.
who report to the Ohio EPA.
They report to
They're
everybody.
not going to fudge results
Anything.
in our favor.
Especially not for Lakemore. I
Right.
promise you.
We're not that special. We are, but we're
We
not
are
to
special,
them.
but
Not to them. They're the
Not,
bottom
So-
not
line.
enough to risk
I mean-
losing certification.
And if you have a problem with the way they are conducting the tests, call them. It's on the company's on our website. If you think they're doing something wrong, you think you're smarter than these biologists and, physicists and chemists and such, call them and give them your input. But, it's not my bailiwick. That's not my degree. It's not what I know and what I study, but I know enough to trust them. Several municipalities and agencies, all the way up the food chain, rely on this company and others, but this company in particular, as well as Lakemore. we rely on them, and we rely on them for a purpose. They do a good job. And it's not because we threw a dart in the dark and it landed on this company. It's because we did our due diligence and our research, and we collectively agreed that we're going with this route for this testing.
That, and it's also not your cousin or your brother-in-law.
Oh, right.
You know,
Right.
I've heard that one too.
Yeah.
Ohio State University uses them. That's who's been doing all their testing.
Yeah, for the Ohio State University.
The Ohio EPA likes them and
So,
uses them.
we're not trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes. We're just trying to keep Lakemore moving forward. We're trying to fix the lake. We're trying to fix the roads, and we're doing the best we can as the money will allow. I'm thrilled that Josephine, the replacement lines and resurfacing is happening. You'll notice this evening, Tracy read about First Street. That's on tonight, right? And we're doing our best, and we've done a lot of good work and positive movement for Lakemore. Okay, so I really feel the need to say that. And if you have questions, call the village. If you have questions about the lake and the toxicity, I won't say if you have questions on the testing methods to ask Tracy, because again, she's not a biologist either. She's a village administrator, but she can point you to the right person to discuss your concerns, right? But, going on social media and saying it's this way or that way, and having your statements be completely unfounded, it's not the right way to go, because people sadly believe what they read more often than not, and that's sad without, doing your own research or delving into it a little bit further. People read what they read, and then they believe it wholeheartedly, and that's truly a travesty, and I'm not gonna go on that soapbox, but we need to be better, is what I'll say, okay?
Can I ask you one more question,
Absolutely.
Mayor? Is the one that you just found out today that was damaged, by any chance, is it the same one that was damaged previously?
Yes.
It is. Well, that's a really strange coincidence. Out of the four, same one. Does the light shine in anyone's bedrooms or something?
don't-
I
Why?
haven't seen it, but I heard the first one was like destroyed, like just
Okay.
destroyed.
I'm just trying to think why that would happen to the same ones. It's very odd.
Right.
Okay.
Couple more things. Dizzy Duck Derby, the Port Summit Rotary Club is hosting a Dizzy Duck Derby, racing rubber ducks down the Tuscarawas River at Melanie Lake this Saturday, the 9th. Springfield Assembly of God's Community Day event is Sunday, the 10th. And I want to remind everyone that Geo's Give Back Tuesdays is in November 23, and that's for the Lakemore Lions Club. So please come out and support the Lakemore Lions Club and support local businesses, i.e. Geo's, in the month of November on Tuesdays. And that's all I have. We'll go to Council President Mrs. Cochran, please, for council reports.
All right, I just want to mention that the dates of our next council meetings, and they will be, both of them on Monday. The first one is September 18th. The second one is October the 2nd. Those will both be at 7 o'clock. And that's all I'm going to report.
Thanks, Laura. Mrs. Coontz.
I don't have anything to report tonight, community-wise or events-wise, because you kind of already covered all the fun things going on. Yeah, I'm good tonight.
Okay, awesome.
I'll pass. Ann, you're up.
Ms. Snyder, yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Frank, Jim, and Dan from Channel 1023 for all the hard work they do in broadcasting government meetings and our local community events. And as always, if you can think of anything that you would like to see on Channel 1023, contact one of your government officials and they will pass the word along. And Channel 1023 is also has a blog, and they're on Facebook and Twitter, and the meetings times are on 1023. And also you can check them out on YouTube. And thank you again. That's all.
Awesome. Thank you. Mr. Strittmatter.
Yeah, I just have to remind everybody that our next council workshops will be September 13th and September 26th, both of those at 6 p.m. at the Lakemore United Methodist Church. Also, to piggyback on Ms. Cochran, to let everybody know that our council meetings are being held here at the high school.
Awesome. Thanks, John. Ms. Anderson.
Alrighty, I just have, one thing for the Spartan snack pack. So, We do our packing for the Spartan Snack Pack every third Thursday of the month. It is at a lot of people know it around here as the Boyer Kindergarten Center. It's on Pickle Road. Now it's the pre-K and school administration building. So our next packing, is the 21st, of September. And that is at 6 o'clock. So if you would like to come and join us, for our next packing to get these meals out to the kids, we appreciate any help that we can get. And also, if you would like to become a volunteer coordinator, to be the outreach person to contact, community organizations or churches or things like that to let them know, when we do the packings, or give them volunteer opportunities to where they can come join us and help out the program, just contact me. You can find my my email on the website, the village website, to contact me, so that you can let me know if that would be a position that you're interested in. And also, if anyone has any grant writing experience, or anything like that, knows how to do it, or could help us get some grants written, we're always looking for funding. We would like to be able to expand and cover a lot more kids this year. So any help we can get, we will take it. So again, contact for my email on the village website and contact me.
Thank you. Mr. Ray?
I got nothing today.
Nothing today? Okay. All right. Administrator's report. Take the floor.
Thank you. So, first, I met with Natalie from Summit Soil today. She's working with Sandy Barbick, is for the public education portion of the stormwater permit that Summit County holds. And she's gonna slowly take over that portion of the job. So she wanted to meet all the communities. So we met today. She's very excited. We come up with a lot of great ideas. We're gonna try to host at least 3, maybe 5 different community events, and I contacted Springfield Township to see if they would be interested also. One is to plant some trees down along the lake. She's gonna try to get a willow tree, but stuff like that. A native garden, native plant garden, an invasive weed pool, like down around Springfield Lake. She loved the sunflower.
The little patch.
Yeah. And try to involve the community, try to involve the students at the high school here who need to have community service time. And just kind of give some education on the do's and don'ts to help improve Springfield Lake and our overall stormwater. So we're hoping to schedule something during the Stormwater Awareness Week, October 1st to the 7th. So we're really just gonna look for some input dates and times from you guys,
Nice.
if you can think of what would work best. And then Josephine Waterline Project, they started up there. They got the signs up and they started cutting the road. They already made tie-ins on either end, and so they're gonna start replacing everything in the middle. Connecting Communities Project, that's a grant that I wrote with, from AMATS, and it's funding the study to find the best means to travel through Lakemore into Springfield Township, either utilizing the Spartan Trail or finding ways to get to it. So we've had a couple kickoff meetings. The mayor was able to make it last week. And we're gonna have our first public meeting for anybody interested, Lakemore, Springfield, here at the high school. It'll be in the cafeteria on Wednesday, October 18th from 6:30 to 8. The team is gonna have a bunch of information to propose, get a lot of input. There's a survey that they're gonna finalize so we can put out and find out what everybody would like to see, the best means of pedestrian travel. It started off, we were trying to find safe ways for the kids to get back and forth to the high school, but then expand on that, you know, what's the best ways to get through the village and into the township, so
Awesome.
that's what's going on. And one of the things that Natalie said that she was gonna try to help us do is get a grant to do a walking path. I don't know if anybody's been to the bog.
Oh, yeah.
Lately they have one, but it's kind of like that, but they have poems every so often that have to do with nature. So
That'd be
there's
awesome.
just a lot of great ideas. So
We haven't heard anything about the Storybook Trail.
we didn't get that one,
Okay.
That's
but
okay.
we're just gonna keep trying.
Bummer.
Plus, she said that she had some ideas that kind of take a different direction that we might
Awesome.
be successful. So
And we can try again.
We'll keep
get some-
trying.
We'll get her input and some,
yep,
maybe some more letters of endorsement from the community.
some big giant trees.
I did see we
Some
lost,
native
I did see
plants.
we lost a tree. Done with Lake Front.
We've lost a few trees
But
from the storms lately.
Thing is, I remember that one being planted.
Yeah.
It was the storm, John. It
Yeah.
wasn't the age.
No,
Okay.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Is there anyone, I don't believe there's anyone appearing before council this evening unless.
you.
Unless- No, okay. And we don't have old business this evening. We have 3 items for new business, and with that, we'll start with Mrs. Cochran, please.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 7299-2023, a resolution approving the agreement from Lexipol to update the Village of Lakemore's policies and procedures manual. First, I'd like to make a motion to dispense with the 3 reads, please.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes,
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
I'll second the original.
Thank you.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes,
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Strittmatter.
okay, I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 7300-2023. A resolution accepting the proposal from Great Lakes RCAP to perform rate studies for the water and sanitary sewer utilities for the Village of Lakemore. But first, I'd like to make a motion to dispense with the 3 reads.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes,
Ms. Anderson?
Yes,
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
I'll second the original as well.
Thank you. Heather, any discussion, council? No?
just to know that we're not just doing this to spend money, we're doing this because it's required by the EPA that we had it done.
Right.
Absolutely. Okay, thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes,
Ms. Anderson?
Yes,
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Thank you, council, and last but not least, Ms. Anderson.
all right, I would like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 1825-2023, an ordinance to amend ordinance 1795-2022, make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the Village of Lakemore, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2023. But first, I would like to make a motion to dispense with the 3 reads.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes,
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
yes. I'll second the original.
Thanks, John. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes,
Ms. Anderson?
yes.
Okay.
Were we going to dispense with the 3rd reading on the Hidden Lakes? Did we discuss that?
You guys have decided that it would be up to you.
Okay, well, if it doesn't matter, we'll just let it go then.
Okay.
I just remember talking about it, and wanted to make sure it
Okay.
wasn't needed.
Anything else?
Nope, no executive session that
Okay.
I'm aware of.
there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second. I beat you.
Sam would
I stayed quiet all night.
Roll
I got
call,
that
please.
last one.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Awesome, thank you.
Meeting adjourned.
Meeting done.